Hi everyone, it's Kelly from TAB Performance, and today I want to talk to you about the importance of your motorcycle pre-ride safety checklist, otherwise known as TCLOKs. Tonight we have our special guest, Plain Jane, and I are going to go through TCLOKs with you. All right, so the first letter in TCLOKs is T, and that stands for tires, and checking your tires is very important. There's three things that you want to make sure you do. The first one is to visually inspect them for any tears or punctures or cracks or leaks, anything that shouldn't be in there, nails, screws, whatever it may be. You want to visually check both of them thoroughly to make sure that there is nothing wrong. The second thing that you want to do is check your tire pressure. If you don't know what your tire pressure should be, it is printed on the side of your tire. And most manufacturers are going to recommend that you have a PSI between 35 and 41. Now for Harley, they recommend that your front tire be at 36 and your back tire be at 40. It's very simple to check this. The only thing you're going to need is a tire gauge, which I keep in my saddlebag. So you use this. And then you take off your cap on your tire valve. You stick that bad boy on there until you get the number, and then you can read what it's at. And this one is at exactly 36. So we are good here. Now for the back tire, because I have bags, you normally have to take the bags off. I'm not going to do that tonight. But if you do have to take them off, you just open them up, you unscrew them, and check them. Unless you get lucky and you can reach your valve from underneath. Sometimes you can roll it forward or backwards and you can get to it that way. But that's how you check your tire pressure. Now for the tread is also very important. You're going to need one of two things to check your tread. You're either going to need a tread depth gauge or a penny, your choice. So what you want to do is you need to feel for the wear bar, and it's a bump in the middle of your tire here. It's not on every one, so stick your finger in there, make sure you can feel that bump. If you have your gauge, you're going to put it right on that bump, you're going to push it down, and you're going to read it. So mine is right there, it's at 3. Which is fine, even though it's in the yellow, it's still fine. Most of your tires are probably only going to sit right about here, right on the green anyway. The other way to check it is with your penny. And we've got good old Abe Lincoln here and the top of his head. And so what you're going to want to do is stick him in head first into one of these and make sure that his hair is covered. I cannot stress the importance of checking your tires, because there is nothing worse than being out on a ride and having something go wrong with your tires and knowing that you could have fixed it beforehand. We have gotten flats, we've gotten where the belt has blown out, and so that, you know, that really puts a damper on the whole day when something like that happens. Okay, so now that we're done checking our tires, our next stop is to check our C controls and L lights on our bikes to make sure that everything is working properly. You are simply going to want to test each one. You're going to want to test your turn signals, make sure those are working. You're going to want to test your brake, make sure your brake lights are working. You're also going to want to test your clutch to make sure that it's moving freely. Other things that you'll want to make sure are working is your horn. And then I always start it up as well, because I am a little sensitive about having batteries die. Mine seems to die a lot because I leave it on. So what you'll want to do is just start it up for a second and make sure that it starts up and there's no hesitation. So we're going to go ahead and give her a start. So we are good with that. So after you get done checking your controls and your lights, see, shut it off. you're going to want to check your oil next. Now on the touring models, your oil's on your right side down below your seats. If you have a sporty like my son does over here, his oil is up a little bit higher underneath the seat in the reservoir. But simply you're going to want to check it to make sure that you've got enough oil in there and that your oil is clean. So you're going to want to unscrew it down here, lefty loosey, righty tighty, to get her out. You know, wipe it off, stick it back in, and then make sure that your oil level is right at the line. And that's all there is for checking your oil. Go ahead and put it back on there and make sure you tighten it up. Last on our list is K, and that stands for kickstand. And basically you just want to make sure that your kickstand is stable because you don't want your bike to fall over, of course, so you just want to make sure that there's no, that's not loose or there's no play in that as well. I'm also going to add to the K an importance about your key. So on the newer models that have this key fob, if your battery runs low on this, you can go into something called limp mode. And that's when you're riding down the street and all of a sudden you have no acceleration. And that's simply because your battery is low. On Plain Jane here, it seems to happen all the time. I've had her for about 2 years now, and it's probably happened 4 or 5 different times. So we keep extra batteries in the saddlebag, in our emergency kit, just in case. My husband doesn't seem to have any issues with his, but you just never know. So if you ever come across that, that's probably the reason that it's happened, limp mode. Okay, so we have covered all the details for TCLOKs, and it is recommended that you do this check once a week if you ride frequently, or every time you get on your bike if you don't. If your bike is any different than mine, I would suggest that you consult your owner's manual, but please keep in mind that even though your bike is different, the process is still the same. Thank you very much for watching. Ride safe and be heard.